Everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and I don't know how I missed this. I just completely missed this. This is usually like my favorite time and like the best time to talk to y'all, but I missed the balance patch. It is now 2:40 p.m. Usually I get these videos out right when it happens. But I posted a video for my summons for Lilibet Part 2, and somebody was like, Mango, where the hell's your video? I'm sitting here, I don't know what to do. There's patch notes, there's balance adjustments, I don't know what to think. I need you to tell me. And then be wrong. So yeah, I totally didn't know these were here. It is way after they're released, but I still have not read these. No idea whatsoever is coming, as always, so going in completely blind. So let's see here. I'm not even sure what I'm hoping for. Araminta, as always. I knew this was coming too. How did I miss this? I was up last night. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. This is the first time I've missed something like in a long time. So with this balance adjustment, we plan to implement changes to 7 heroes, 2 artifacts, and a zodiac sign. Hopefully one that affects mages, because I feel like mages get shafted quite a little bit. So grade 5. Moonlight DJB, I was hoping for, oh, I see Kawana. I was hoping for May Chloe, but DJB is fantastic as well. I don't have him, one of my most wanted units in the game. 5-star Covenant Chu. I love Chu. I still think she's okay. I've been using her for the expedition. Please, for the love of God, let her be used in PvE. Don't just pigeonhole her into like a PvP unit that nobody uses. Let me use her in PvE. I've been using her in expeditions and she just doesn't do damage, you know? Like, I built her pure damage just with her skill 1 with the combat readiness, and like Turner Guard does more damage. I don't know why, but I would love to see Chu do more damage. Crimson Armin is an interesting one. I feel like she's already had enough time in the spotlight, but I guess they want to get immunity out there with all the debuffs right now. Troublemaker Crozet, I'm gonna have to read his skills. Kawana, I love Kawana. I already have her plus 10, and I'm interested to see Helga and Mercenary Helga. So let's get into this. Blackhand of Eternus, or Blackhand of the Goddess and Eternus. So cool. Soulweaver Sagittarius, interesting. I don't know which ones those are. Anyways, let's go into this. I actually don't entirely know DJB's skill set. I know what he does, obviously, but not like 100% exactly. So Everlasting Oasis. Heals all allies after the caster uses a skill. Okay, so not just after Desert Winds, so after he skill 1s now as well, right? Or skill 3s, I'm not sure which one. Either way, whenever he uses something, gets some increased healing. Bastet's Roar. Bastet roars, dispelling all debuffs and granting immunity for 3 turns to all allies. Okay. When the skill is available, decrease damage suffered from a critical hit by 30% just for himself. When more than 1 damage reduction is affected. Okay, so it acquires an extra soul and it will protect him a little bit. Cool. This is a decent boost. I think the extra healing is going to be pretty massive. That adds up a lot. I really like DJB. I think he's underrated. With this balance adjustment, Desert Jewel Basar will be improved to be more sturdy, allowing him to survive until he can use Bastet Roar. When Bastet Roar is available, DJB will suffer less damage from a crit. There will also be more improvements to Everlasting Oasis to provide increased healing, so the skill recovers his allies' health in more cases, which will maintain his team's advantage. I really like this change. It's kind of subtle, but this seems pretty big, especially like not only are you adding this, assuming I'm reading this right, by the way, I don't look ahead of time, so I'm very likely wrong on some things, especially units I don't use. But not only is it like allowing him to heal on 2 different abilities, right? But it's also increasing the healing done. So that seems pretty massive. This is the one I'm excited for. So attacks the enemy with a spear before increasing the caster's CR by 20%. A critical hit will double the amount of focus gained. Okay, that's not really what I'm hoping for. Like, I feel like her multipliers are what's the problem. Attacks the enemy while wildly swinging a spear, penetrates the enemy defense by 50%, so it's up by 20%. When the focus is maxed, resets the cooldown of Whoosh and recovers health proportionate to damage dealt. Interesting. So I'm not sure what to think about this. Let's see what they say. Whoosh will be improved to penetrate the target's defense by 50%, and when her focus is stacked to 5, it will recover her health proportionate to the damage she dealt. When Chop lands a critical hit on the target, it will now grant the caster extra focus, enabling her to use the skill again in a short period of time. Okay, so this doesn't really help the PvE side of things, I think, specifically because a lot of times you just want to use her skill 1 in PvE, right? Especially against the expedition where CR manipulation is really important. You can just spam that skill 1 a bunch of times. We'll see where this takes her. I'm not sure what to think about this, but obviously up 20% there seems pretty good, and also recovers HP, makes her last a little bit longer. I'll definitely be trying her out. I'm definitely gonna try her out. So takedown with Crimson Arm, and attacks with a large shield with a 100% chance to provoke for 1 turn. Damage dealt, so it just ups it to 100%. You know, why up it to 100% when there's so many units that are stuck at like 50%? That would be so good for PvE if you just upped it a little bit more. Security Slate decreases damage received by allies by 15%. So just straight up 15% reduction. Pretty cool. This is pretty good. This is obviously pretty good. Just straight 15%. That's awesome. As for Troublemaker Crozet here, attacks the enemy in the act of faith with a 40% chance to stun for a turn. When it's not the caster's turn, effect chance increases by 20%. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And Chivalry here receives 40%. What does it change? Increases the combat readiness of the caster by 15%. Okay. That helps him like do a counterattack and then buff himself up. Yeah. 35%, and then when it's attacked, he gets a little CR boost. And Oath of Protection just acquires 3 souls. I mean, I guess that helps, specifically for offense if you're using him there. So, Troublemaker Crozet will be adjusted to be more of a variable in battle and potentially have more turns in battle compared than before. When Troublemaker Crozet's skill Pledge Guard is activated by a counterattack, the skill will now have a higher chance to stun the enemy. Yep, 20% more. Troublemaker Crozet will gain CR when an ally. Yep. Additionally, the AI for Troublemaker Crozet's skill will be adjusted to fix the occasional issue where it's affected not prioritize allies in the back row. Cool. Interesting changes here. Just a pretty decent change. Like the CR boost seems pretty massive, I think. Now the one I'm excited for. Come on, don't do her dirty. So the problem with Kuwana, before I read this, is she sucks. The problem with Kuwana is she's got a stun, which doesn't really work in PvP because they all have too high ER and it's only single target. And it doesn't work, or PvP it doesn't work. And then in PvE it doesn't work because you can't stun bosses. And then with the skill 3 that gives everybody skill nullifier, if everybody's fire, you use it, and then, you know, SSB counterattacks, gets rid of the nullification, and then just like blows you up, or anybody counters attacks, or God forbid Charles counterattacks and just kills you. So there's quite a few problems with her. Combining with, she kind of wants to go fast because of stuns and buffs, but she also wants to do damage. She just wants to do literally everything. So we'll see if they can solve that in any way. I don't really see a way you can solve it, to be honest, but let's see. So casual introduction, attacks all enemies with a Flame Guardian before increasing the attack of all allies for 2 turns. When all allies are fire, grants all allies skill nullification once. Damage dealt increases proportionate to the caster's speed. I mean, that helps a little bit in her damage problem, and they also give her a soul burn, but it costs 20 to get an extra turn, so you can use it and then you can stun. Interesting. So one of the things I would do here to make Kuwana a little more versatile is I would make it so she when she gives people skill nullifier, it's 1 turn, but if they're fire, it gets it 2 turns. That way you kind of protect yourself. It's not too overpowered because the rest of her kit isn't insane. So that'll help you survive counterattacks as well. And Rough Welcome attacks the enemy with a Flame Guardian, dispelling 2 buffs before stunning for 1 turn. When all allies are fire, increases the CR of all allies by 20%, proportionate to speed. Okay, so pretty decent buffs, but not really gonna do much, I don't think, specifically because, like I said, for her to do damage, she needs a ton of effectiveness as well to land these debuffs. Like, granted, you might land it, but you're just risking so much, right? And you have to bring an all-fire team, And it's just, oof. It's a tough one. So what do they say? With the adjustment, Rough Welcome will first dispel an enemy's buffs, and if all allies are fire elemental heroes, it will increase the CR of all allies. Yep. Cool, but 20 soul burn, that's too much, IMO. I guess it's standard, but she needs less than 20. Anyway, let's talk about Helga now. Strongly slams the enemy, just damage dealt increase. Okay, that's I guess damage dealt increase. They're just making her do a little more damage. Okay, so when using attack chain, now it increases the CR of Earth Elemental heroes by 30%, the highest attack. Okay. Huh. I don't think that's going to change much, maybe for very specific teams. Maybe for very specific teams. So Black Hand of the Goddess here, the caster's crit chance and crit damage increases by 24%. So it's not only just crit, it's also crit damage. Okay, that seems like a pretty decent boost. I don't know if that's going to make it good, but a pretty decent boost. And Eternus increases it up by 12%. Okay. As for Sagittarius, they're increasing it from attack to ER. That's fantastic. That is really fantastic. So Hammering gets it, and DJB gets it currently. Blaze Dingo. Oh wait, it's just specifically, that's everyone. And then these are specifically Tamarin and DJB. So they're getting a little bit more attack. Cool. Wait, before is 932 attack. After is 948. So they're getting rid of the attack, but they're buffing their base stats, I think. Either way, getting 18% base is pretty fantastic. They're buffing Blaze Dingo's HP as well to make up for this. Jekt Inos buffing, yep, that makes sense. Rekroar as well. Okay, so I'm not sure what to think about these. I know I went through them really quickly, but I feel like there was nothing really too hard to think about, right? We've got DJB here, who seems like a pretty solid buff. Again, I don't have him. I don't use him. I would love to use him, but it seems like a pretty solid buff. We have Chu, which I don't know if it's going to do anything for where I want to use her, which is PvE specifically. Maybe I'm going to have her be a bit more useful in Guild War offense. I'm obviously going to try. Crimson Armin just seems like a straight up buff, but nothing extraordinary. Crozet seems pretty interesting as well, specifically for offense, right? Because you can manipulate things so well there. Kawana seemed like a dud. Unfortunately, she needs a lot more than that. Like, I've used Kawana a lot. Like, I really have. I've tried her out in every PvE game mode that's available. I've gave her my best gear. I've gave her like 30 different sets. She needs so much to be better. Interesting. So I don't even know what to say about this. I feel like there's nothing meta shifting. There's nothing big. There's nothing like anything like that in these notes, which is a little bit not so exciting. Like, when I see patch notes, I really want to see one unit that gets like a overhaul that makes them good. Like, you know, like a good example is somebody like T-Cern. Maybe that's a bad example because of how oppressive she is, but somebody like T-Cern got a massive change and it completely changed everything. Somebody else like who has changed recently says, I don't know if stuff changed with him. You don't really see him because he's often offense. So long story short, I don't see that here. And again, I could be wrong. I'm often wrong. We're going to stop here. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.